Be on the lookout for a casual video within the next couple of days. There are some things that I want to talk with you about involving the channel, and some questions I want to answer that I can't fit in the end of this video. I just don't learn my lesson, huh? This video is a little overdue as well, because I've had a lot of thoughts on the production of these two videos. Not only did they take forever to make, but I'm also not particularly proud of how I handled the production process. I kept giving you guys different release dates for the videos, which I can only imagine was pretty frustrating for some of you who were genuinely excited about them. And I became really distant from my audience during it all. And you know, through the entire time I wasn't really blind to that. If anything, it's all I could think about. But I didn't handle it well. What I think contributed to this unintentional hiatus was a mix of setting exciting yet demanding goals, time blindness, and some fear sprinkled on top of this mess of a cocktail. I originally wanted to make the part 2 video in the same style as my usual video essays, but then I got excited about an alternate Devil May Cry canon. I saw an opportunity to make something truly unique. I've always had an appreciation for abridged series on YouTube, Final Fantasy VII Machine Abridged being my all-time favorite abridged series, so I kinda thought, what if I make something similar? Not with the intention of being comedic, but exploring an interesting story direction with these characters. So I got to work. And realized I'm really limited in my editing abilities. Most of the time I have ideas about how I want to present something, but I just don't know how to create it. A substantial amount of my time was spent learning new editing techniques to best create the image in my head for like a 10-second segment of the video, which really slowed me down, but also pushed me to learn something new. So I am grateful for that, but I was really blinded to the amount of time I needed to create this project. I'd plan out my weeks with the goal of having a certain amount of the video edited, but time-wise, it was incredibly unrealistic, which is why when asked when part 2, I'd respond within a week or so. Back in December. It wasn't that I was purposefully lying to appease you guys, I just genuinely believed I could do it. But the reality of how physically demanding my creativity is just smacked me right in the face. That's what I mean by time blindness. I didn't realize nor respect the amount of time that was necessary considering my own capabilities. I was just going off my excitement for the project. You know, not only am I an amateur self-taught video producer, I have a whole second job at my university. I was blind to the reality of what was necessary for a project like this, and I let that blindness influence how I interacted with you all. This sort of leads into the last element of my unintentional hiatus. The longer it was taken to produce this video, the more afraid I became of it. Not because you guys strike an unholy fear into my heart, it was more about a fear of expectation. I created this impossible standard for myself for releasing part 2, and I just kept putting it off for literal months. I kept working on it, but part of me was embarrassed and afraid because I was keeping a highly anticipated project away from you all. I let myself spiral into that fear and just became incredibly distant. It was such a big departure that I had comments wondering about my health. By the way, thank you for checking in on me. I did read those comments even though I was being distant. It was just scary to admit that I'm messing up and need more time, especially after setting the expectation that I was going to release part 2 really soon after part 1. To fight against that fear, I thought, I gotta make sure this video is amazing, and I'll do a double upload to make it up to everyone, to redeem myself. When the reality is that I didn't need redemption, I just needed to keep you guys informed. The fear that kept me away wasn't grounded in reality at all, and yet I let it influence my communication. Audience communication is something I want to improve on because we are a community. My content is intended to create conversation. I can't create conversation if I'm not there to begin with. This has been my thoughts on the development process of those videos. I generally think it's a good practice to reflect on the things we do and the thoughts that we have, especially when it's about something significant, such as the way that I run my channel. My head is just often full of thoughts, so putting this together not only opens that communication with you all that I spoke of earlier, but also lets me, like, process them without letting them overwhelm me. I don't know, I just feel like Markiplier was onto something with just making videos where he talks honestly about his thoughts on life. If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed yet, then please consider doing so. It would help me get a step closer to making YouTube my full-time job. I've been creating a bunch of minute-long videos for the new YouTube Shorts system, and I have more of my video essays planned for the future. Some of you have also asked me in the past if there are any ways you can support me directly. Well, recently I set up a Kofi account. It's basically similar to Patreon, where you select a certain amount of money that you would like to donate to your favorite creator. The difference, however, is that it's not a monthly commitment. It is a one-time donation where you pretty much just give like $1 or $2. It's a tip. I prefer this over Patreon because I don't want to lock people into a commitment, you know? I figured it'd just be a lot easier for everyone if it's just a one-time thing, rather than setting up that expectation that you have to be constantly giving something. So if you've wanted to support me directly, this is your opportunity. You don't have to. Subscribing and watching my videos is more than enough. This is just for the people that want to do a little bit extra. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about. And as always, my people, thank you for watching.